Guess what, everybody? It's time for your favorite pro wrestling podcast. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's just us, the Squared Circle Maniacs. Welcome to our channel, the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast channel, where we offer up our news, and well, not really news, we just read the news off the internet, and our commentary on and reviews on various pro wrestling happenings, such as what happened last night on AEW Dynamite. What really happened on AEW Dynamite, Don?
I'd probably turn your light on.
My light's on, Don. Let me shine on my
okay.
happy face. There I am.
I want to see you, pal. You're looking a little blue today. Looking a little down. Looking like you need to get out the sun a little bit more. I know it's hot as shit. Don't be that blue. I am excited right now. I'm excited because we're going to try to fit you like a brand new pair of underwear, baby. It's going to be a tight show today. We got a lot to cover as Johnny Bottles squares off into the sun, praying that he can see again one day. I pray we never have to see another show like this. That's what I pray.
I didn't get the copper tone.
Last week, we joked around. I joked around. People tell me I love, hating on this show. I said I like watching bad wrestling. For the first time in a long time, AEW wasn't bad.
Yes.
It just bored the shit out of me.
Bored the shit.
Just kind of like what WWE does after they get out of pay-per-views and they get into these lulls where you just fast forward to see what's happening next. This was boring. This was flat. It didn't entertain me, and the viewership shows 711,000 was the average viewership for this show. 711,000. By the way, Motorhead, happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday to Motorhead. Skull. Drink them if you got them. So they picked up 8,000 viewers over last week, Don.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
2% increase. It's just 8,000 people. I don't look at that as anything, to be quite honest. 8% is...
I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, Don. That's all. Just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. What can you say about that show? I could say it was probably one of the most boring, like you said, wrestling programs I ever had the unfortunate fortune to watch. And I was out at 9:10, 9:15. I just changed the channel, and I said, I'm going to fall asleep watching this. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. It was like, I felt like Snake Plissken. Escape from Dynamite. Escape from Jacksonville. Or where were they? They were in Winnipeg, weren't they? Jeez.
The room's closing in on me. Get me the hell out of here. It's crazy that I felt the same way about halfway through this show. I was like, I got to get out of this. I can't watch this anymore. And the boot of this whole thing is, I was watching the Braves, and when the Braves went to commercial, I'd tune in and say, okay, is this any good? I'd come back out in 10 minutes. All right, let me catch back up with my Braves real quick. Nothing was gravitating towards me that I liked at all. It's the same shit. It's the Young Bucks. It's all the garbage that I hate about this show. It's like they've got to recycle everything over and over again.
Exactly. This is like DX taking over Monday Night Raw back in the day. Essentially, is what's going on right here with the Young Bucks. And can they really be called the Young Bucks anymore, Don?
No, it's just the Bucks.
Approaching middle-aged Bucks, or just
it's the Bucks.
Yes.
By the way, thank you all for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Super Chat's open. We are here for your questions or comments. I can't wait to see what some of you guys have to say. The show started with what I could only say, was that a new backstage interviewer? I've never seen this young lady before. The animated corpse that we're used to seeing was no longer there. I felt like this might be a new shot in the arm, something different, something to look forward to. She was a kindly young lady. She looked attractive. She had a nice look about her. She asked good questions. She was to the point.
Sure.
I found no flaws in what she did. I was intrigued by the new person. Like, who is it? Who is this? Who is this new
girl? Who is this girl?
Yeah. Where have they been hiding her for so long? Why is the corpse not here? Because that interviewer they got backstage is he's the dirt worst.
Alex Marvez.
Yes, dude, is that his name? The guy that just looks like he just stood in front of an oncoming traffic for 3 hours trying to get hit. His best effort to leave. She was better. I liked it.
Alex Marvez is the guy's name. I guess they're trying to counter-program the lovely Jackie Redmond from Raw. You've seen her before. Yes, the lovely Jackie.
Apparently her name is Mina. I've never heard of her.
Mina?
I was I liked her. I thought she was good
too. You know who the other girl is?
I didn't pay attention. Who's the other girl you're talking about?
There's another girl. She was on there twice. That's all. Tall. She's got the frosted hair. Lexi Nair is her name. That's Diamond Dallas Page's daughter.
Oh, yes. I've heard she was wrestling. I did not know that was her.
And she's also the fiancée of Big Bill, who's under the learning tree right now. He's sitting under the learning tree, getting shit on by birds.
Oh, Orange Cassidy came out and had the first match, and you know I love me some Orange Cassidy.
You got all the T-shirts.
I've got them all. Trent
Yes.
came out as well. I want to pull your microphone in a little bit. Trent came out as well. That's who his match was against. That's better. Was the crowd dead? I couldn't tell if it was the crowd or what the hell that was.
Weren't you?
No, I wasn't dead. I was very much alive. But
I was dead for the entire show, pal.
What did I miss in this crowd that was the last couple of crowds, not just here, but WWE as well, Raw sounded dead.
Look,
like, what are you people there for? You're just sitting on your hands. Do something.
Here's what the deal is. Let me adjust my camera there.
That's right.
Here's what the deal is, Don. At the beginning of the show, there was an African American young lady with blonde hair.
That I saw, yes.
And there was a guy she was with. He was going to take her top off on television.
Yes.
And there was a bit of shenanigans going on over there. The crowd was fixated on that. But they weren't thrown out for some reason. They were still there for the entire show.
Very odd. Very odd.
But still, how can you get worked up with Trent Beretta?
I have no idea. Hey,
how can you get excited about Trent Beretta?
Did you know?
He's not even excited about working there.
Did you notice he had a new look, though? He shaved his head. I don't remember that him coming out looking that way. And he may have it. I overlooked.
I thought he just drove to the arena with his head out the window and all the dirt blew off his head.
Yeah, it might be. But he at least had a different look. This is what I didn't understand. They started the match and immediately went outside the ring, and the ref rolled out of the ring with them. I guess this was a hardcore match. I wasn't paying attention to the rules because whoever does in this thing.
I don't think it was ever announced. I think he was trying to get them to go back into the ring.
It just got weird. Don Callis comes out, and I guess he's doing commentary because Taz is under the knife, right? So
yes, and that Taz had a knee done, I believe.
Yes, I believe so. I wasn't upset about the match. I knew they're going to do their typical AEW shit. Maybe I'm just getting numb to it at this point in time. They fought all around the arena. They fought in the fans. They came back in the ring, but they had a good spot to close this match out. There were 2 pile drivers given to OC, to Orange Cassidy, and I thought, this is good. He's going to beat him clean, or something's going to happen that's going to make him look like a villain. Right. Trent Beretta gets up, rips the top turnbuckle up down like any good heel was. He's making it clear. This felt like an old school spot to me. It's not just enough that I beat you. I want to physically hurt you so you may never wrestle again, or you may be impaired for a while. While this is going on, Orange Cassidy slinks over to the other corner and does the exact same thing. Trent Beretta comes running in, dives at him head first, roll up for the pin. Orange Cassidy escapes for his life, right? Gets out of the ring.
Absolutely.
And I thought, okay, this felt like an old school match. And as he's walking around the ring, as Orange Cassidy has pronouns, as Orange Cassidy's walking around, I said, Trent's got to get his heat back because there's no way this is going away. There's no way this is ending. Trent's got to get his heat back. And sure enough, he comes around the corner and whacks him in the back of the head. I was like, here we go. What are we going to do now? He takes Orange Cassidy to the stairs, pile drives him into the stairs. I thought, perfect. Walk away, Jones, right here. Leave the scene of the crime. This is the perfect spot to get the hell out of town. You have ended this with your heat. You've given the babyface a legit bitch to come back to. It's perfect. Get the hell out of there. Right. No, it's AEW. They've always got to screw it up in the end. He takes Orange Cassidy under the ring, gives him I don't even know what you call it, the catapult from when his legs are like this and one guy goes down, the other guy goes up. And he catapults him into the ring, under the ring apron, into the steel beams.
And they pulled the camera in so tight you could see Orange Cassidy protecting his neck like this with his hands. The cameraman was looking into Orange Cassidy's ear canal at the time. It was so close. and you could see it. It was ridiculous. They overbook so much shit on this show, and they try and they try and they try. And all it is it's too much. It's too much, Don. It's like baking a cake and burying it in 5 gallons of ice. Go ahead. I'm sorry. The hate that I have for this show is strong in my heart.
I can tell. I told you to eat an edible before we started. Just to recap, 2 pile drivers on Orange Cassidy in the ring. He pulls off the top turnbuckle protector. Trent Beretta slams into that head first. Schoolboy roll up, whatever you want to call it. OC escapes, gets outside, gets pile driven into the damn steel steps by Trent, then gets catapulted into the damn steel beam, throws a chair out of nowhere, throws out a chair. And out of nowhere, magically, Orange Cassidy has recovered enough to grab the chair and begin to defend himself from whatever's onslaught is coming next.
Right.
They can't just let it go. They've got to always take that next extra step that makes no sense to me. From a wrestling fan's perspective, I'm like, he should be on a damn stretcher right now. You just pile drove him onto steel steps after 2 in the ring. This dude should be on life support. He should be next to Kenny Omega in your fake hospital with shelves. Elf on a Shelf in the background should be the name of the show. It was horrible. I can't believe they screwed this up. You had it there, man. They had a good finish, and they screwed it up, Bottles.
They could have just, he could have been dropped twice on his head and have the medics come out and cart his ass away. Show him going into the ambulance in the back, and maybe have somebody like Statlander get into the van with him, get into the ambulance with him, drive off.
I don't get it.
The best thing about that entire sequence that you just described, and I know you're going to disagree with me on this, Don Callis was on commentary. He did an exemplary job, I think, the entire night. Don Callis did a great job on commentary the whole night through. He was no Bobby the Brain Heenan, but he brought a lot to the table, more so than what Taz does, and more so than what Tony Schiavone does. If I listen to Sockface, the Masked Man, and Don Callis for the entire show, then it might be interesting. To just check out Tony Schiavone.
We're going to get there. I'm going to get there. I got a
lot to say.
We're going to get there. We're going to get
there. About the late Tony Schiavone.
We're going to get there.
Go ahead.
The Buck segment was horrible, as predictable. It's neither sharp nor crisp. It's corny. It's funny. Old. It's tired. It's not funny.
The overly sincere, smarmy heels. Just the shits. Go ahead.
After that, we have a Jack Perry segment, which was the funniest, dumbest shit I saw in the night. Jack Perry in the back, out of nowhere with a full bottle of water, pours, like, I don't know, maybe a fingerful of water down his face. I don't know why he did it. He's in the back with no one. He's talking to the camera, just pours it down his face and throws the bottle. He just throws the fucking bottle.
That's what normal people do, Don. That's what normal people do behind closed doors. They pour water down their face, a thimbleful of water, and throw the bottle across the room. That's what they do.
This was the dumbest shit I've seen in forever. He just chucks the water into Neverland. I have no idea what he said. When he just, if you watch the replay, it's like, oh, God, that's cold. It's like he freaks out because it dawns on him, this is cold as shit, and he chucks it across the room. Horrible. Horrible. Did you notice this shit, or was it just me?
He's on camera, pal. I just want it to be over with. I just want it to go away. I want it to be over with. I want the nice, clean-shaven, long-haired Jungle Boy and the little midget coming out and Luchasaurus and doing, trios matches or tag team matches and playing the song. Ooh, I want that back again. I want the feel-good moments back again. He's not a heel. He's too short to be a heel. He's too little to be a heel. Unless he's going to be somebody's manager. But it's the land of the little people, AEW. The land of the little people. And the big men aren't even kings because they're never shown on television. Except for the main event of this show.
Dude, it's kind of like George Michael said. you're never going to dance again.
Guilty feeling. I've got no rhythm.
Oh, God. Kenny was next in his quote-unquote hospital. And this was another part where I'm sitting here watching this shit, where I had a good chuckle to myself. Did you notice the nice bookshelf in the back that I see in every hospital room I ever go to? I don't know about you, but when I go to a nice hospital, it shelves all on the back wall everywhere I go. It's not actual machines hooked up on carriers or machines being rolled from room to room so they could use all over the hospital. It's always on the shelf right next to the Cheetos and the Mountain Dew. Y'all could have done better than this, man. Really? A shelf?
I saw a sushi bar in the corner.
God, man. It was.
Give Kenny a break. He's got a tube up his ass. He's wearing a bag on his side. What do you want the man to do? He's shitting in a bag, Don. What do you want a guy to do?
I want them to do better than this. I mean, you've got some money. Rent out a hotel room and set it up a little bit. Buy some fake-ass looking equipment. If you're going to spend all this money on bad wrestlers, you could at least have them in better segments than this. That was terrible. That was terrible. Like and subscribe.
Should have known better than to cheat a friend.
Did you say Cheeto's a friend?
Cheeto's friend. Yeah, should have known better than to have a Cheeto's friend.
There you go. See, now we're getting somewhere.
We're rewriting Careless Whisper by George Michael.
This next segment is near and dear to my heart. Like and subscribe.
We got to work Mountain Dew with this.
Like and subscribe. Super chat's open. If you got something to say or a comment, I'd love to hear from you.
If you got a snappy joke that you want to share with the world, we'll put it on screen for $1.25. Somebody paid us in Turkish shekels last month. Was it? What was it? It was like $40. It said 40 on the dot.
Indian, yes.
Yes. And we checked it. It was like $1.95.
But I appreciate it.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it. We were just curious what the conversion was.
Yes. Guilty feeling, got no rhythm.
Harry Carey came out, only small. Wait, nope, that was Tony Schiavone. Here we go. Dude, Tony Schiavone to me looked like a sober Harry Carey. That's what he looked like to me.
Tony Schiavone looked to me like the Tony Schiavone from Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. That's what he looked like to me. He must have changed his dye job up. He must have new hair dye. Because as I recall, he used to be a brunette. Now he's got jet black hair, a jet black beard, and his hair looks like it's been sprayed on. What was that stuff where you would spray a bald spot? That's what his hair looked. Maybe I should do that. I got the Letterman thing going on here, but that's what Tony Schiavone, Tony Carey. No, he was a keyboard player, wasn't he? For Rainbow back in the day. Classic rock aficionados out there, let me know. Tony Carey. Harry Schiavone. We'll call him Harry Schiavone.
He is Harry Schiavone from now on. Because when he walked out, when he came out, I literally thought, holy shit, he looks like Harry Carey lost all of the weight. And he's sober. And I don't like this version. And
Harry Carey's dead also. So is Tony Schiavone.
He did not look good. I'm not going to say he looked dead.
How do you sound? Hello, everybody.
This is when it really...
Do a Harry Carey, pal.
I can't.
Tell me my mother's a whore.
That is... we'll get there later. Trust me.
Come.
We got to talk about only eventually, I think.
Will that be after hours?
Oh, Serena Deeb.
Your mother's a whore, Bottles. Your mother's a whore.
Serena Deeb came out, and wrestling's hard, and I get that. Wrestling's hard, and I get that.
She's a hard-looking woman.
But she looks like
she's... Serena Deeb. She's a great wrestler.
But that wasn't... Whatever the look was that they had, the lighting or whatever, it wasn't helping her. It was kind of like the Seinfeld episode with the lighting girlfriend, where certain lights that look bad. Two-Faced.
Yes.
This was one of those moments where it was like, damn, it's not good lighting for her tonight. I felt bad for her. To put on top of that, it put my wife to sleep. This is what I wrote down. This is officially put my wife to sleep. Public safety announcement. You can sleep watching her promos.
Pal, let me tell you something. She put the entire audience to sleep. They were trying to get some sort of sympathy applause or cheers going with her. And they brought her back out of nowhere. She's had one match since she's come back, I think. I'm not watching Rampage. I'm not watching Collision. If she wrestled on any of those shows in the last couple of weeks, I'm not watching any of that crap. Unless it's really, really good. But Serena Deeb is a good wrestler. But if she's going to wrestle the likes of Harley Cameron or Sky Blue or any of those other shixes, I'm not watching any of that. But Serena Deeb is known. She had a job at the Performance Center for a cup of coffee in NXT as a trainer. And when he made a whole bunch of cuts that one year, when he cut like 50 people, she was out the door. And that's what led her to AEW. Not to bore you, Don. It's women's wrestling. I see your eyes are still open. You're paying attention.
They're getting heavy.
Serena Deeb is a great wrestler, especially when she's given a good opponent. But
this wasn't a good promo. She can wrestle her ass off. I'm not saying she can't. She probably can.
She's not known for the promos, pal.
No.
She's not known for her promos. I can't recall her ever speaking until she was in the Straight Edge Society with CM Punk and Luke Gallows many, many years ago on SmackDown, like in 2010, 2013. And she was the girl who had her head shaved. You remember that on SmackDown years ago?
Yeah. Was that the
Punk shaved her head in the ring?
That was her?
That was
her.
Are you
sure?
Absolutely.
That's wild.
She got fired back then because after a house show, they all went to the bar, and Serena Deeb can't exactly hold her booze. She can't hold her scotch, Don. She got drunk off her ass and made a scene in a bar, and it got back to Vince. And Vince said, "She's doing a straight edge gimmick, god damn it! She's not supposed to be a drunkard. Fire that girl." And nothing of value back then was lost.
I don't know much about that. That was a typical era where I was not paying much attention to the news. It was just what happened in the shows. Anyway, we have the terrible Orange Cassidy backstage segment.
Is it ever any good? Is it ever any good?
But this one was particularly bad, Bottles. He just sitting there like, oh, my neck. I'm so hurt. I'm so hurt that I could barely get up and almost fight you off again.
You know what? You never mentioned that Tony Storm came out and interrupted Serena Deeb.
There's a reason.
Tony Storm got clocked.
There's a reason.
One punch, she went down like a sack of shit. So that would tell you right then and there, if you're following pro wrestling bylaws, the laws of pro wrestling physics, if the challenger gets over on the heel, the champion, before the big show, before the pay-per-view, she's losing. So
yes, that's how this works.
But then again, Tony Khan's running this shit, so who knows? Who knows? Go ahead.
Mariah May and your girl Harley Cameron, who I've never heard of, comes out. You mentioned her, and I've never heard of her, so she's your girl now.
You're putting her on your bus. She can't get out of her own way. She can't get out of her own way.
She's on your bus. And there was something in this match that got me by surprise. Saraya came out. Saraya. She's on your bus.
Is Saraya on my bus?
No, she's on no one's bus. Why is Saraya back? Where the hell's she been? What's the explanation?
On the bus?
She's
just relegated to Rampage, Don. She's on that Lost Island, Gilligan's Rampage. That's where she's at. She's on Gilligan's Rampage. It's an island unto themselves.
Was this a heel versus heel match? Because I'm confused.
I'm confused also, Don. I don't know if Mariah May is a face. Is she a heel? Is Tony Storm a face or a heel? Serena Deeb's always been a heel since she's been with the company. Harley Cameron's a heel. And I will say one thing. Mariah May is a well-traveled, hard-hitting Japanese-style wrestler. I know you don't follow the career of Mariah May, and I didn't either. And I had to do a little research to see some clips of her on YouTube. And she's really a fantastic wrestler when she's not in the AEW bubble.
Can I say something about this match real quick?
Well, let me say one thing. And I'll let you finish.
It's along the lines of what you're saying, though.
Harley Cameron should not have given Mariah May all that trouble in the ring. It should have been a squash match. Boom, boom. Quick finishing move. 1, 2, 3, done. That's not the person you put in the ring with, Mariah May. Go ahead.
They both at least hit the ropes hard. That's what I noticed in this match. Both of them hit the ropes hard. That's the biggest compliment I could give on this match. They hit the ropes. Good for them.
Harry Schiavone even said, they're hitting the ropes hard, Don.
This match ended on such a horrible note. One of the girls, I don't remember which one it was. I guess it was Harley Cameron. She was in one corner of the ring, crawled to the other side of the ring to take the finisher. It was the worst shit I've ever seen.
Horrible.
Then Saraya jumps in. She starts attacking her. And then the Japanese Hooters waitress comes out. And we have champagne.
Mina Shirakawa. Yes, your favorite wrestler, Mina
I said what I
Shirakawa.
said. I said what I said.
She came out.
And they had almost another hot lesbian action scene, because let's bring that back, and then stopped at midway.
It didn't happen.
Weird, man, just weird. What the hell happened in this next segment backstage with Pac and the Trios champions? Is he just going to fight them all? What the hell was this even? Oh, boy. Is this your... You weren't even watching. Quit playing. You weren't even watching.
I watched that match fervently. Not as fervent as some people that I know and that I interact with on Twitter. But, yes, I would give that whole sequence... You know what? I'll take
we
the
can't
Jergens
revisit.
away. Just one White Castle slider. That's it. No
That sounds
Jergens. No Jergens.
Look, Pac and the Trios thing I talked about, the House of Black segment, it was actually pretty good. That was a good segment, I thought.
I thought
Was there
Pac was going to
anything-
go. I thought Pac was going to go full Nikki Cross and just not say anything at all.
I'm talking about the House of Black segment.
You said Pac, so that's why I said.
Well, I'll just say we had
If you
the
want to talk
Pac
House of
Trio
Black?
segment.
Let's talk House of Black. Let's talk.
Did
House
you
of
like
Black.
that segment?
It was good for what it was. It seemed out of place on this show.
Because it seemed like a professional segment. That's why it seemed out of place. It seemed
did.
like a professional wrestling segment
It did.
where somebody had a serious issue with another wrestler and wanted to kick his ass and take his title. That's
You
what
know
it
who-
seemed like.
Do you know who shit all over that segment? That Malachi Black promo. You know who shit all over it? The Neckbeards on Twitter.
Did they really? I missed
Yes,
this.
they did. They said it was too WWE. He doesn't mean anything. He always loses. Doesn't mean anything. He's miserable. He looks depressed. Yeah, he is. His wife works in WWE and having the time of her life and making more money than probably he's making right now. Can't wait to see the man come back to WWE and see what that echelon, that management team does with Aleister Black when he comes back to WWE. You know what's going to happen when that contract's up. You know he's leaving to go back to Zelina Vega, who that's his wife. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's a while off, Bottles. From what I understand, he's signed to a pretty long deal. I don't think it's going to be time soon.
He's jacked up, Don. He's jacked up. He's
I
counting
know.
the days. He's counting the
Okay.
days. You should just punch Tony Khan in the face.
I mean, you get sent home for that. You're right. Just start picking
Punch him
fights.
in the face. Start picking fights. I'd be scrapping every day in there.
I'd go after the Young Bucks myself. You go after the Young Bucks or Jack Perry, you're guaranteed to get fired. Guaranteed.
Right. But you know why he is not exactly a favored state in AEW.
Why?
What? You know why he's kept at the level that he's kept at? Virtually no singles matches. It's all tag teams. He's never fighting for a championship title. He's never fighting Swerve Strickland or any of those guys. You know why he's there? You know why he's at that level? He's a FOP, friend of Punk.
Oh, that's right. He is, because he was the one that was backstage breaking up the fight.
He's a good friend of CM Punk's. And
Makes more sense.
They met on the independent circuit when he was Tommy End. Tommy End, which is an unfortunate name for a wrestler. Tommy End.
Yeah, that's bad. They had another
Malachi Black's a better name. But go ahead, Don. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Another Bucks segment that was just bad. That's what I wrote. Bucks bad. Don't care. Just get it off my screen. Swerve comes out to the ring, and he had a purpose, and he had a swagger about him. He had a sway. He had some bass in his voice, talking shit. And out came Christian. And I know last week you said you think Christian's not in good shape. I think Christian's in good shape, man. I think he's wearing that turtleneck as a gimmick to be the stepfather to the family that he's got. That's how I see it. That's how I've seen it said now. But he's not in bad shape.
He's the Ward Cleaver of that family, of the patriarchy. Okay.
Would you like to redact that you thought he was in bad shape now?
I'm not redacting Dick.
Oh, all right.
I'm not redicting.
That was good. I see what you did there. That was pretty good.
Yep.
Look.
I think that edible's kicking in, Don.
Here's what happened. Swerve comes in the ring. They're coming to the ring. Swerve has backup.
Yes.
The Samoans I've seen on Saturday nights occasionally, and old steroid boy himself. Shit.
Brian Cage.
Brian Cage.
Brian Cage looked like he was dipped in charcoal.
He was tanned as shit.
What was going on with that guy, man? Good Lord.
Hey, look.
Is he trying to pass as a Samoan?
when you get on the gas at a high level and you're tanning, you are going to look that way, buddy. That red, that brown mixture, that's it, buddy.
And he came out with the 2 Samoans that are not employed by the WWE.
They're the only 2 left. They're trying to get them
Only
out.
2 left. Yes, the only 2 left.
But the first thing that came to my mind was, wait a minute.
Tony Schiavone's still alive?
It's not that. It was every time I've seen these guys, they're heels. Why are they with Swerve Strickland? What happened next? They turned on him and beat the shit out of him.
When Swerve was a heel, he was aligned with the Mogul Embassy. That was his gimmick. He was a mogul. He was a multimedia mogul. So they lined him up with this group. It was called the Embassy in Ring of Honor, and they called it the Mogul Embassy. Prince Nana, these 2 schmoes, Brian Cage, and Swerve. That was his faction. It sort of fell by the wayside the last couple of months, but all of a sudden, at a clear blue sky, they're back. And Prince Nana is probably recuperating from his heinous injuries, from the heinous attack.
All I know is they powerbomb him through a table. It was 6-on-1, and out came Jim Dugan. Wait, nope. I was watching my bad. I was watching Mid-South at this point in time. This had bored me so much I'd gone back to Mid-South, and all I heard was, here comes Jim Dugan. That's how bad this was.
Who came out to save him? I forgot.
No one. He got the shit kicked out of him, and that was the end of that.
Well, he's a babyface. He's a babyface, and none of the other babyfaces in the back came out to save Swerve Strickland. Maybe they hate him because he's the champ. Maybe they hate him because he used to be a heel. Who the hell knows?
How does this help? How does this help your champion to get the shit kicked out of him 2 weeks in a row by the same faction over and over again and make him look like, 1, he's not popular with either the fan base or the guys in the back, and 2, he's feckless as your champion. He has got no fight left in him. He's going to get the shit kicked out of him every time.
He is a transitional champion because when they have the big show at Wembley Stadium, you know who is going to challenge him for that.
Yes.
If he still has it, who's going to win in Wembley Stadium?
Yeah, Ospreay's taking that title.
Of course he is. And where was Will this week?
He's a traveler, bruv. He's on that plane every week, bruv. He's not afraid of the grind, bruv.
You beat me to it, pal.
I'm home, bruv. I'm with my stepson, bruv. I'm not coming back across the pond, bruv. Yeah, don't give me that shit.
Where's Hangman Page?
Oh, dude, that guy's home with...
He's home holding hands with the wife saying, I didn't do it, honey. I didn't put my fingers in there. I didn't do it. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
He has a bad...
They wear tight outfits. Honey, they all wear tight outfits. They all wear tight outfits, even at the after parties. I'm sorry. I didn't do it. I don't care what the camera said. I don't care if someone sent you pictures. I don't care. I didn't do it. He's on the same planet the Young Bucks were on around Christmas time.
No, he has a bad case. He's got the pout face, dude. He's got the pouty face. He's mad because of what's going on. He's got pout face. He's not in the main event. He's not part of the Bucks storyline. Yes, he's not part of any major storyline right now. He tried to force him back in there with Swerve Strickland, and he tried to get in the way of all that shit and make himself part of it, and he got booed out of the building, and now he's home with pout face. He's terrible.
He's not home because of pout face. He's home because he's got family issues at home. He's got trouble at home. That's
your story. That's mine.
No! That was released by AEW and Meltzer. The Meltzer said, and if it's got to do with AEW and what's really going on, I would believe what Meltzer says. Meltzer said that Hangman Adam Page is home because of family problems, not because he's hurt. And
I don't think he's hurt.
What kind of family problems do you have at AEW?
Well, I can tell you what kind I'd have. Ratings. You'd have TV rating problems. That'd be part of my family problems. Watch the TV, Sherry! I told you I was going to be on! That's the problem. She's not DVRing his shit and watching it, and he's flipping out.
We missed the demo by one person, and that was you!
That's it. We went from 333 in the demo to 332,999.
God damn it, Sherry. Why am I yelling at your wife?
Oh, God. We got another shitty Buck segment.
You know, I hate having shit on my Bucks. You got to take them off and put them under a hose. Clean them off.
Is this the third or fourth time I've mentioned them? Because they opened the show. I think this is the
time you mentioned them, Don.
Third or fourth. And it's not good TV, and it's not making me want to watch. I just want to get the hell out of here.
It's the heels that are too cool for school. You know what I'm talking about? People who think they're funny and they're not. A lot
Your
like
mother's a whore.
That's it. I like it. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear from you every once in a while. Your mother's a whore. The Terry Funk impression. You got to say this before we go off the air. I love you, Satchel ass. You remember that monologue?
Yes.
That monologue.
Yes. I'm not doing that one tonight.
I can't come in. Vince, I can't come in. My horse is sick.
Yes. I remember it well. We'll get there.
Dude, that Terry Funk impression gets me every goddamn time.
I'm glad I'm here to amuse you.
Holy shit, that just gets me.
Willow Nightingale had a segment.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Willow Nightingale, I look forward to her segments every week. Willow Nightingale with the big hair and the big ass. I look forward to seeing her every week with the gear that's 2 sizes too small. And she seems very, very earnest. She's got the unfortunate full arm tattoo now. And she's got the ring in her nose. And she looks fantastic. Willow Nightingale, everybody. She is the, what is she now? The TBS champ?
She's the
TBS champion for until 18 days from now. And then she's going to be losing that belt to you-know-who.
You are an angry man right now, Bobbles.
Why? What are you saying?
I'm
like singing the praises of Willow Nightingale.
No,
I think she cuts a good promo.
This segment I didn't find horrible. It was one of her better moments. I don't find her terrible in the ring. Willow Nightingale did a good job in this section or in this portion of the show. I wasn't disgusted. It was professional. I enjoyed her segment. I'm sorry. I think there's something there. I feel like if she gets a chance to develop a little bit more, she's got some decent promo skills. She's not Mercedes Monet bad, pal. I'll say that.
I'm trying not to look at the chat room, pal. I got to close this chat room window, pal. I can't look at it. I can't look at it, pal.
Yeah, you need to close it. I'll take a look. By the way, like and subscribe. Super chat's open. Got something to say? Let us know.
If you guys want to share some of your jokes on the screen for perpetuity, we'll be glad to put them up for $1 for 50 cents.
Anyway,
$1.50. It's just whatever helps the cause, pal. And we have a streaming service here, and it costs money to have it going every month. So
I got.
By the way, Don, what are we at subscribers right now? 695.
Oh, we are at 695. We're pushing to get to 700. Please push that harder. We're trying to get to 800 by next week if we can. It's a lot to ask, I know, but look, we had 2,300 people watch the video last Thursday. It was a good show. We had a good time. When you guys are here having a good time, we're having a good time. The audience makes the show, in my opinion, not the wrestling news or the wrestling outtakes. Everybody watching this, the chat room, the interactions, that's what makes this whole thing go.
Yes, we love the chat room. We love the interactions with our people. You guys have really made this channel. I mean, we were with, I'll say who we were with. We were with Total Pole Nation on that channel a year ago. And we started this and we built it up ourselves and went on our own and put it all together. Didn't know what we were doing at all. If you look at some of the other videos where we started, it was a little rough. And here we are now, and we're doing it the right way. We're not buying subscribers. We refuse to do that. You can buy subscribers on YouTube. We can't do that. It's a thing. You can buy views. You can buy watch hours. You can buy all that bullshit. And we don't do that at all. We're doing it the honest way, unlike other channels that we do.
All right, back to wrestling.
I'm just saying we're at 695 right now. We're trying to get to 725 by our next show on Tuesday.
I'm trying to
hit 725.
I'm going for
subscribe. How much?
8. I'm going for 800, but we're going to get back to wrestling bottles.
But let me say one thing.
I'm about to Ric Flair Pizza Hut this bitch in a minute.
Don't do that. Don't call me an Egyptian.
What the hell was that, dude? Of all the insults to throw at somebody, Egyptian came out of his mouth.
You couldn't see the guy's face. Maybe he was a man of
Who gives a shit? What kind of a drunk rambling is this? Did you see what came up?
It was a drunk rambling. It was a drunk rambling, of course. That's all it was. He was drunk Ric Flair. I'm surprised he didn't have his cock out. But anyway, if you subscribe to our channel, it doesn't cost you anything. It's just a little click on a button, and you're just there in the loop. If you hit the bell, a little bing bong on the ding dong.
Thank you, Larry.
When we have a surprise show, if something big happens in the world of wrestling, like Vince McMahon leaving the company, this is the one of the shows we did, or a pay-per-view, it's got a hot show, we're going to come on, you'll know when we're going to come back on. So, it doesn't cost for a notification, it doesn't cost anything for a subscription. That's all I can say.
Back to the
rest.
rest.
In the world of us, back to Don Wayne.
Jay White has 3 belts in a trios thing. I don't understand this anymore. It's a trios belt, it's a 6-man belt, and there's 3 damn belts that are now associated with each champion. Belts. What are we doing here? There's 9 belts for one championship. What? I don't understand why this is a thing. I didn't much care to keep up with this. Rocky Romero is back. That seems to be the guy. They like this guy. He came out. I was like, oh, shit, it's a pirate. He's got a bad eye. Nope, that's a gimmick. Took it.
You know
right
why they like him? Do you know why they like him? He was
because he wanted to be a pirate.
Dude, he was in the front office of New Japan. He was a mole in New Japan. And so when all the contracts were coming up, he told Tony Khan that this guy's contract's coming up. He gets paid this amount of money. This guy's contract's coming up. He gets paid this amount of money. Shinsuke Okada, his contract's coming up. He gets paid this amount of money. So-and-so's contract comes up. He gets paid this amount of money. He's got that intel, and Tony Khan took all those people from New Japan due to the backstage machinations of Rocky Romero. Oh, here's a side note, what I saw. You know Riho, the Japanese schoolgirl?
Yeah, well, we'll get there. Talk about that after.
No. It's pertinent to what I'm saying right now. This is AEW centric. It's pertinent to what's saying she wrestled 10 times last year.
I know.
10 times. She made $400,000 wrestling 10 times. $40,000 a match. That's nice work if you can get it.
I agree, Larry. Next time you see a
pirate gimmick.
Oh, Canada. Anyway, look. Pac came out. The whole thing broke out. Jericho came out next. He was against Jobber Nation. Of course, he won. They announced Hook is coming back next week. I'm not going any further than this. There's no need to. This is what it was. Copeland match came out last against the who was this? I got
Brody King. Brody King, the Blob.
Brody Blob. That's what I got. Brody Blob.
He comes out with a mask. He should wrestle with the mask on. That's what he should do. And they build him. They build him as 285 pounds. And that fat bastard is 285 pounds. I weigh 150 pounds. If he weighs 285,
I'm done.
That guy's got to be 325.
Don't even
if he's an ounce. And why is the TBS champion selling for that big schmuck? You mean
guy,
TNT? TNT champion, whatever. It doesn't really matter at this point in time.
I'm just trying to get it right now.
What those belts are called. Why is that? Why is Edge selling for Brody King in a 20-minute match? Why? It's ridiculous. Brody King's not a main eventer, number one.
But he is bigger, right? He is a bigger guy.
He's a big guy. Of course he's a big guy. And he bled all over the place like a stuck pig. Adam Copeland, at the end of the whole match, was going to wipe the sweat off his forehead. He looked at his hands. He had blood all over his hands from Brody King. And he just shook his head and wiped his hands off as best as he could on his trunks. Because he was disgusted by the amount of blood.
It was a lot of excessive blood. It was a lot of excessive.
Oh, yes. Well, that man's blood pressure's got to be through the roof. He's 325 pounds. He probably has a diet of salt pork.
That concluded what I'm going to finish with AEW. It's just the shits.
There was a thing afterwards. Afterwards. The Young Bucks came out again.
I didn't watch it. I'm out, dude.
I'm out. I'm telling you right now, the Young Bucks, you haven't seen this. The Young Bucks, the Elite came out again. All 4 of them. Because Kenny Omega announced from the hospital bed that was in his house, he said,
oh, yeah, four-way match that he's going to have.
4-way match, FTR and 2 other people that they have no idea who it is, but they'll know by the end of the night. You know who the other 2 people were?
Ask me if I care, and then go ahead and tell me.
Do you care?
Not a fucking bit.
I'm going to tell you anyway. Bryan Danielson is miraculously healed. Praise
God. A miracle! It's a miracle!
God. The lame will walk and the blind will see, as Paulie Walnuts once said. And that technician of the ring, a man that you love,
Okay.
I think that I bought a taco from this man at a truck on the side of the road in Summerfield, Florida. Eddie Kingston.
I'm out. Of course it's Eddie Kingston. Why wouldn't it be?
Dash Wheeler came out. Listen, Dash Wheeler came to the ring in a T-shirt with a picture of Chris Farley that said "La di frickin' la."
And that's how I feel about this show. That sums up my feelings for this show. I would like to continue to something else now that's actually entertaining.
It was hot garbage. It was hot garbage. Let's talk about something different, Don. I'm cleansing my palate right now of AEW.
I want to talk about the Ole Anderson dark side of the ring that blew my mind because it wasn't about Ole Anderson in any way, shape, or form. He was like a snippet in the story. Did you watch it? I think you did. Did you watch it?
I watched about 3/4 of it, pal, and it was a little too old school for me. I mean, if you're going old school, this was old school with Jim Barnett, Bob Roop, the Briscoe brothers, Ole Anderson. I think the man who invented pro wrestling was mentioned in this entire thing. Abe Lincoln. They showed a film clip of Abe Lincoln wrestling a bear.
Come on.
That's how long ago this. It went all the way back. Lou Thesz's baptism. That's what they had. They had film clips of that. Jesus Christ, it was old. And I thought Bob Roop.
Dude. I thought he was Ole Anderson.
So did I. We talked about this on the phone before the show started. Bob Roop looked like a truck hit him. Bob Roop made Tony Schiavone look old.
I'm not going to rip the guy for looking old. I just thought it was Ole Anderson.
Tony Schiavone or Bob Roop?
Bob Roop. I thought Bob Roop was old. Here's what I didn't like about it. And I usually love Dark Side of the Ring, right? There's only been a couple episodes where I was like, I don't need to see this shit. This episode focused. His entire career was summed up in the first 15 minutes of this show. They didn't mention the Four Horsemen. They didn't mention any of that shit, man. They went straight from.
Do you know why?
WWE owns all that content.
Well, no. For the access to Ole Anderson, they probably said, some probably said, so. You're going to mention this, and this. He doesn't want to talk about Flair. He doesn't want any mention of Ric Flair because he hates him. Doesn't want any reference to Tully Blanchard or anybody else because he hates them all. And he does hate them all.
Either way, look.
Ole Anderson, before he died, had multiple sclerosis. And not a lot of people know that, but his son was on the show.
Yeah, his son talked about how he could barely function anymore.
Can't wipe his ass, can't feed himself. Not good.
But they summed up his entire career.
That's like me on a Saturday night.
They summed up his entire career in 15 minutes, and then it went straight into his takeover of Georgia wrestling territory. That's what it was. That's what it was. They went straight into how he took over Georgia and pushed out Jim Barnett, my boy. Jim Barnett, if you don't know, is one of the most classic characters in the history of the wrestling business. Jim Barnett was a flamboyant man, to say the least.
He was a lover of men.
He liked
there's anything wrong with that.
But I'm just saying he was flamboyant. Like he liked to have a driver. He wanted to have nice clothes. He had all of his clothes made in Hong Kong. He did all of this stuff to make sure everybody thought he was rich. So when
trips to Thailand every year, yeah.
Part of the story, and I don't want to go over the whole thing, but I'm just trying to get into the meat of the potatoes of this thing. Ole Anderson breaks into his office one night and starts rummaging through his bills and finds like a $3,000 overseas call bill that he charged, like a $9,000 tailored suit, and like another $1,000 for his limo driver for the month. That was the month's bills.
He was pissing a lot of profit away, is what he was doing.
Actually, he said Egyptian. I'll send it to you later, Gil.
He did say Egyptian. He said dipshit several times, but he did say Egyptian. And the guy said, you don't have to talk to me like that. You don't have to call me that. Talk like an Egyptian.
I'll send you the clip, Gil, but he absolutely said it. I recorded it. I was like, holy shit, did he just say that? Why would you say that?
Dude, he said a lot of things in that 3-minute clip. He really did. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's finish up the dark side of the ring.
Jim Barnett runs out of there. Gets run out of there.
Like you said, the funny thing was, it's about that episode of the Georgia Championship Wrestling with Vince McMahon on it, how that all happened. But the focus of this show and the first half hour of it, Ole Anderson.
Yes. And then the last 15 minutes took a drastic turn. The last 15 minutes was all about how Vince McMahon came in with Jim Barnett riding shotgun, forcing his way into the territory because Jim Barnett knew all the players. My boy, you got to talk to this man. He'll help you out. Come on, Vinny, talk to him now. They ran Vince McMahon in there. He bought out the Briscoes portion of the business in Georgia Championship Wrestling. He bought them out because he screwed the Briscoes over multiple times. And the Briscoes finally had enough and said, you can buy us out. We've had enough. This was after this crazy bastard got drunk in a hotel with them, cut his forehead, cut their foreheads, and swore a blood oath. Who does this shit? We're going to have a blood oath, you son of a bitch. Your mother's a whore.
The Cherokee Indians and Terry Funk do that.
I'm bleeding all over this hotel room, and you still owe me trans money.
I love you, satchel ass.
I love you, satchel ass.
That's it.
There you go. Now, where's my beer? I gotta go home, Vince. My horse is sick. Oh, there you go, Bottles. You got them all in.
Oh, my God. It was your greatest hits of Terry Funk, all there bundled together. I had to snippet that and make a short out of that. Go ahead.
Anywho, to make matters worse, he gets him run out. Vince McMahon introduces his wife to Ole Anderson. And Ole Anderson says, fuck you and fuck Linda too, in the middle of everything. And Vince never forgot it and said, I'll never forget this. So Vince buys the TV time. Georgia Championship Wrestling's got nowhere to go now. Right. Screws everybody over. He's got no ratings down there, right? Like it's a dead territory. They call it Black Saturday was when WWF debuted in Southern Territory. They didn't want it.
Everyone
and this is where it gets even better. Jim Barnett's like, we'll sell the TV time back. And you know they got $1 million for that TV time that they bought for like a couple $100,000.
Jim Barnett was a fiscal genius when it comes to that.
He was.
Yes, he was. But he was record keeping, record hiding where the money went. He wasn't good at that. Ole found out all that shit. He wasn't good at that.
I swear to you, what got me at the end was that Vince sells it back.
What's old Alan Rogowski, I think his real name was.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Alan Rogowski was Ole
Polish name.
Real name, yes. And Marty Lundy was his little brother, Arn. The Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
Yes. Vince
sells him as a horseman, dude. I loved him as a horseman. He came out with that T-shirt. Evil, mean, and nasty.
Yes. So Vince sells the time block back to Ted Turner, who's going to start his own wrestling company. He's going to buy out the Crockett's as well. He's taking that over. And Ole says, well, hire me. I'm the guy that's been booking the territory forever that made it so great. He hires Ole and says, well, what should we call it? He says, why don't you call it my old show, World Championship Wrestling? And the rest, as they say in wrestling lore, is history. That's how it all came to be. And this is where it takes a wild turn at the end of the show. They suddenly go into the allegations of Vince McMahon the last 10 minutes of this show and how he's been ousted as the CEO of WWE. And then they talk about how he sold the show and was ousted again. Was the craziest ending to an Ole Anderson show I've ever seen. Never in my wildest dreams would I have bet Vince McMahon would have closed the Ole Anderson Dark Side of the Ring special. Never.
That was a thumb to the eye of Vince McMahon by the Rogowski family.
It really was.
That's what that was.
That was personal. It closed in such a way where I was like, what the hell was that? And then, they got Jim Cornette on there just shitting all over him.
When Ole was alive, they probably filmed this, and he told his son to do it. And Ole probably said, when it's over, you go ahead and bring up about Vince banging that girl.
Fuck
I don't
him.
think he
Come
can
in,
say that, pal.
come in here and change my bag.
I'm pretty sure he couldn't say that. He was pretty bad at the end, man. I'm not gonna make fun of the dead man because that was a tough way to go. I wouldn't want anybody.
That's
to
why
go
I'm here, Don. I'll gladly make fun of the dead, the fat, whatever. Bring it all to me. I'll make fun of them all. I don't care.
You ain't right, man. But that was the end of that.
I am
There
a
was
hateful
also
man, Don.
some financial news that hit today that was rather big. Couple of nuggets going on.
Yes.
So everybody's been wondering what's going to happen with WWE Raw because come September, at the end of September, that's the end of the third quarter, they are homeless. They have nowhere to go. And this is the longest running weekly episodic television show in history, according to Vince McMahon and anybody else. This is the longest wrestling show for sure in history.
I wonder if it's more than The Simpsons.
It is.
Okay.
I think it is. It is. Because
no reruns. No reruns.
No reruns. None. It's all new. But
no, we can't say that. They do highlight shows.
Yeah, but that's not a rerun. It's not a rerun. Even The Simpsons do that shit. Remember when episodes. Anyway, look. The WWE found themselves between a rock and a hard place, as did the USA Network, because they didn't want to pay a shitload of money for somebody to run a show that they weren't going to continue for the next 3 months, right? Like, we got to find a win-win here. The WWE backed off of their asking price, and the USA Network gladly paid $25 million to run Raw from September through the end of the year. So that was a pretty big breaking news, I thought, today to me. I don't know what you thought of it. What'd you think?
If you break it down, that quarter compared to all the other quarters of this year, they lost $42 million making that deal, but they kept their brand alive in the zeitgeist of popular culture and in the media by being on USA. They've got a good relationship with USA because SmackDown's coming there next year. So they had to do something to keep it going. And you and I both said back in January of this year when the Netflix deal was announced, what did we say?
It's not Warner Brothers. We're upset.
We did say that, yes. But we also said that they're going to work something out with USA Network.
Yes, we did.
They've got to. Of course it's going to happen because USA Network bought SmackDown. And they're not going to be pricks. They've got a long relationship with the WWE. Back when it was the WWF, even back when they ran a wrestling WWF Superstars.
Yes.
And the Bobby
Saturday
the
morning
Brain
shows.
Even the Bobby Heenan show. Remember that talk show we had for a couple episodes? They even ran that. They ran it all. They ran Super Astros on the USA Network back in the early 80s, which was their Luchador TV show.
You know what else they had back on USA Network back in the day that was great?
Silk Stockings.
The USA Express. The cartoon show at 6 to 8 every night. It had all the old school cartoons. You had your Hanna-Barbera, you had the Space Ghost, all that shit, man. All that stuff. Golden age of cartoons. So
absolutely,
I'm glad to see they could find a path forward and nobody got greedy and nobody got to be an asshole. It was like, hey, look, you're paying us billions of dollars for the next 5 years. Let's go ahead and keep this thing going. We're not going to charge you an arm and a leg. Let's go forward with this. So I was pretty happy to see that.
Right.
There's a couple other tidbits I want to get to. Did you see Bobby Lashley is hurt?
No, I did not see that.
Bobby Lashley has been pulled from the King of the Ring matches. He has been injured. So he will not be participating.
Apparently got hurt on a house show, I guess.
I don't know. They just said he's injured. They didn't go too in depth on it. It's just, look, you feel bad for Bobby. I feel like he's just sort of one of those guys out there now. You know what I mean? Like he's in a faction, he's leading it, but he's not really the main event guy anymore. He's sort of a guy that's still there. You know him by name, but he's just not the guy.
Bobby Lashley is actually, he's transitioned to a managerial role, and he's actually getting great promos. A little backstage exchange with Carmelo Hayes last week on SmackDown was fantastic.
Yes,
Every
it was.
time they put a microphone in his face now when they interview him, he's great. And I think that's a good role for him. He's almost 48 years old. Jacked to the bejesus, jacked to the gills. So it must be a lot of that Prime Energy drink they're drinking over there in the WWE. Big sponsor of the WWE, by the way.
I've got one last tidbit that I want to cover on my end today.
What do you got?
Dave Meltzer on the Backlash PLE.
Oh.
Somewhat pay-per-view.
Yes.
Dave Meltzer.
Too.
Well, go ahead.
This is from Forbes. Is yours from Forbes?
No, this is from Dave Meltzer.
According to Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer Radio, AEW Dynamite had more than triple the viewers than WWE, NXT on PlayStation View. Though this data on PlayStation View obviously represented on PlayStation View, a very small PlayStation View. Although this data obviously represented a very small sample size on PlayStation View, terms such as AEW Dynamite and I'm with AEW trended throughout Wednesday on Twitter, leading up to the promotion's debut on TNT, which commenced before 14,125. What is that going to?
It's a nothing article that means nothing. That is once again another way to put AEW on the map in some way to make you think they matter in some way, shape, or form.
And then he said, the Google searches were the lowest for any
there it is.
Pay-per-view I've
That's
ever
the
seen.
one.
100,000. It's early, so the first week's number is going to grow, but the first week number was like 3,700. Financially, a WWE pay-per-view number doesn't mean anything because most of the people are going to be watching on Peacock. But the one thing a pay-per-view number can tell you is how much interest is there. And this one was down 39% for the same period leading into the Chamber show, which was the Perth show. It was the lowest in history for a WWE show as far as pay-per-view buys, and looks to be by a significant margin. Wrestling Observer Radio. Dirty Dave Mumbles Shoe-Dye Meltzer. Did you see him on the dark side of the ring, by the way?
Yes, I don't want to get into that.
It looks like he's buying his hair dye from Tony Schiavone out of the back of his Crown Vic.
Dave has lost his fucking mind.
He has lost his mind. He's deranged. He really is deranged.
He's now looking at Google searches and pay-per-view buys for a company that streams all of its pay-per-views as a PLE now on a streaming service known as Peacock. Dude, we are not playing the same game anymore. He's still stuck in 1998. He doesn't understand how this has evolved. I get it. Dude, you want to tell me 3,700 people bought a pay-per-view? Cool story, bro. How many streaming hours did that PLE get? Because I bet you'll never see him look into that nor report it. I saw this week. Someone said, I can't wait till Raw goes to Netflix so we never have to hear about the ratings again. Do these morons not understand that streaming hours on shows get reported on a weekly basis?
They are the ratings for streaming.
This.
They are the ratings for streaming, yes. Streaming shows, streaming movies have ratings. And if streaming shows are not watched, they are canceled right away. People are saying, I couldn't believe Jody Loves Shirley on Netflix is canceled. I can't believe it. It was only on for 6 episodes. No shit. Nobody watched it. That's why it got taken off the air. Well, taken away from the service.
I studied marketing in college, right? I'm not going to say I'm the smartest guy. Yes, I did. I understand how marketing works. If you're not watching my show, it can be the greatest show in history. If no one gives a shit, I'm not going to get revenue or ad money for that show. That's not going. Dave, what are you doing here, pal? You're looking like you lost your dog.
The edible just kicked in, pal. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not going to renew you if people aren't watching your shit. It's that simple. The show Wednesday Addams, right? Wednesday. Did you see that show last year on Netflix, or did you hear about that show?
Yes, my wife watched it. I heard about it from my wife.
I want to say it was the last report I saw. It was the third most streamed show on Netflix last year. It had a huge number, like hundreds of millions, maybe billions of hours streamed.
Wednesday Addams went to a private high school. That's what it was. She went to private school. Wednesday Addams.
Yes. She went to a private ghoul school, I guess is the best way you can have it. She did that funky dance that caught on like crazy. The little 14-year-old scat cats from TikTok. Yes, I said scat cat.
Scat cat?
Anyway, look, that's how this works. If you watch a show, they actually can see how many hours you watched that show and how many people watch that show.
Sure, they can. Absolutely.
So people thinking that the viewership numbers are going to go away are either delusional or just uneducated dirt strangling, Cheeto eating, Mountain Dew swilling morons in mom's basement. And you know what else, Johnny Bottles? Your mother's a whore. And that's the last one I got to be tonight. Thank you all for watching tonight.
I hit my head back so hard against my green screen, I bent the post in my kitchen. Jesus Christ. My wife's probably wondering, the ceiling's sinking.
Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bottles, that's all I've got for this evening.
We've got a couple things I've got on my agenda right here. I'm going to bring this up.
Make it good, pal.
Let me share the screen, pal. Somebody's a little disenchanted with the WWE. Big Bronson Reed said, honestly, F this place.
Who's Big Bronson Reed?
The Big Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed.
Yes, Big Bronson Reed. He said this yesterday, 8:03 p.m.
You don't think this is a work?
Do you think he's in a 7-Eleven right now saying, honestly, F this place? You think he's at a car dealership buying a car? Or maybe he's at Midas getting a muffler put on and said, honestly, fuck this place. No. He's bitching about the WWE. Is what he's bitching.
Do you think it's a work, though, man? Because this is part of the thing now. They're working fans on social media. This is the thing.
Speaking of working fans on social media, somebody got a cheese gift bag from Greenwich, Connecticut.
I'm not even going to mention this asshole.
I'm not going to mention his name either, but you can read it on this tweet.
This dipshit, I wonder if he really thinks they sent him this, or if he knows this was a joke someone played on him. I hope he's smart enough to know.
He bought this himself.
You think so?
This himself. Of course he did. Do you honestly think that WWE is going to have a handwritten note?
No. I'm saying one of his people messed with him in the company.
No. He did this himself to save face.
He might.
Presentation, public perception is everything that is moron. He's got to be looked upon.
Get him off my screen. I don't even want to see it anymore. Get him off my screen.
Everybody sees this on Twitter, says, I'm not going to say his name. It is a pleasure working with you throughout the year. Your work is strong, and we appreciate. And whoever wrote
Get him
this,
out of here.
they misspelled appreciate and try to write over it. Your commitment to the craft. Nick, Paul, Chris, Greg, and your friends at WWE.
I'm done with it.
Come on, man.
Again,
by the way, Don, the wrestling. You talked about the wrestling minutes that the neckbeards.
I'm not. Yeah, dude. That's the
Raw was 75 minutes and 48 seconds of wrestling.
I know.
Dynamite last week only had 51 minutes and 28 seconds.
Amazing how that works. You never hear about it when it's the other way around. And by the way, we had different opinions on Raw this week. I didn't think it was particularly great. You thought it was great. By the way, it scored like a 9-3 on Cage Match, so the neckbeards loved it.
It's going to be doing good. And by the way, Don, let's talk about the Sky Blue thing before we make this the last thing we talk about.
I don't want to talk about it. I really don't.
Why? It's one of the biggest stories out there right now. Talk about Sky Blue.
All right, so apparently
at the Ring of Honor taping.
I'm gonna don't interrupt me. I want to say my piece. I'll let you say yours. Apparently, there were two guys, or a guy, because it's conflicting because there's no real news coming out of any of this shit. There's a
guy and a child.
That's what's being reported now. In the clip last night that they showed this morning, Soraya comes over and starts yelling at two men. These guys are perverts. It looked like a 16-year-old kid and maybe his dad. Who knows? I don't know. It could have been one of those, I don't give a shit moments. Either way, she's screaming, look at these perverts, look at these perverts. They eventually kicked him out of the wrestling ring. And I'm not going to comment any further than that because there's two things I don't know. I don't know what they said, and I don't know what they did. So I'm not going to say these guys are perverts, and I'm not going to say they should have been removed. If you want to give them some time on the show, you do that. I'm not going to do it because I don't know shit about this. I don't know what they said, and I don't know what they did. There's accusations. This is a free country. You are guilty until proven. You're apparently now, sorry, I said it right. You're guilty in this country until proven innocent, not the other way around. And I'm getting kind of tired of the United Warrior Front that runs to the front says, get rid of these assholes, when you don't even know what was said. How the hell?
Well,
imagine you're this guy and you said nice cheeks because she's over here adjusting herself, and that set everybody off.
right.
How do you respond from that?
You're
like she just lost her shit.
You're beautiful, honey. I'd spend the night with you. What's wrong with that? When someone just yells at, they're drunk. If they're worried about what people are going to say, they're a talent at these shows. Don't sell alcohol. Don't sell alcohol. They're all drinking beer. They're all drinking wine. They're all yelling and carrying on. When it's in their favor, it's great. But when it's against one of their talents, it's bad. And by the way, this is also sky blue.
I know.
This is sky blue. So her ring gear was getting smaller and smaller as the years went by in AEW because she can't wrestle a lick, and she's showing off her best talents. Her ass is slowly eating her ring gear.
I'm just going to say this.
You just can't say, hey, what great ass, honey. Great ass. You can't yell that over the barricade, or you're a pervert, or you're terrible. And they got Aubrey Edwards, the enforcer of AEW. They try to get these guys thrown out.
Like I said, I don't know what was said. To me, it's a non-story. Until someone can say what was definitively said, I just don't care. I just saw all of the idiots online be like, this should never happen.
Yes.
What should never happen? What did they say that should never happen?
And last night at Dynamite, Sister Angelica Saraya of Our Lady of Perpetual Motion came down to the ring, and she said, put the camera on these perverts right here. I'm a holy woman, and these guys are absolutely disgusting. A woman that did a porn with three-way porn with Brad Maddox and Xavier Woods. A woman that had sween splayed across the NXT women's title.
I'm not going there.
I'll go there because I don't give a shit. I'll say it. That's what happened. Is she going to be on this show? No, she's not.
No, she's not. But
no chance of that whatsoever. Like I said, Don, we're just a couple of guys sitting around having a few drinks, talking about wrestling. And this is what I would say to you if we were in person, sitting at a bar somewhere. She had a jizz shot on her NXT Championship title in a cell phone video that got leaked out on the internet. She should keep her goddamn mouth shut, is what she should do. And if you're worried about the women being yelled at and catcalled, don't send them out there in G-strings, virtual G-strings, like what we've got going on here, right here. Okay?
I just got one last thing to say. I'm not saying that it gives anybody the right to lose their shit and start yelling things at a woman, right? I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, you are going to attract men that will do that shit if that's how you're going to present your product.
Exactly. People are saying, here's a quote from someone online on Twitter. This is actually monstrous. Professional wrestling shows are, stay with me now, professional wrestling shows. This isn't a strip club. Things have changed. This shouldn't be happening anymore. The heck? Sky Blue Appreciation posts a fan was harassing her in such disgusting ways. She does not deserve that. And they have her dressed like this in the appreciation post.
Again, though, take it down because here's my question. What was said? What was said?
Exactly. We talked about this before we went on the air. What was said?
Unless you can tell me what was said, you're all just rushing to a cause and you don't know what you're defending. If all he said was, nice ass, honey, shut up. Shut up. It's not that over the top. So I'm done. That's the show for today. Take us home.
It's just amazing.
Like and subscribe. Try to get to that 750, 800 point. Let's get it.
Folks, we're trying to hit that. We have another show coming up Tuesday at 7 p.m. Probably talking about Raw, talking about the wrestling news of the day, of the weekend, whatever goes down. What'd you do? Spill your drink?
I got problems over here, pal.
You got trouble, pal. You got trouble. We did an hour and 14 minutes today. Good show, I think.
Take me home.
Take me home. What was it? Take me home tonight.
I don't want to let you go till I see the light. Take me home tonight.
Just like Sky Blue said,
Hit the button.
be my little...
Hit the button.
Until next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.